Program 6, Grandpa Ken's Timetables. 9 multiplication facts that must be memorized or solved. It's up to you to decide which way you want to go. This video has 2 parts. Program 6 explores ways to memorize the 9 facts. Program 6A explores ways to solve the 9 facts, recommended for students grade 6 and higher. The following timetable facts must be memorized or solved. The option is yours. I like to solve them, but we will show you both ways and you decide. Before going on to the next page, stop the video. Write down all these 9 facts on paper to use for a reference if needed during this video, and you will need them. Practice memorizing these facts in groups of 3s, 6 times 6, 6 times 7, 6 times 8. Everyone has a different way to memorize facts. One way is to say them repeatedly over and over, at least 10 times each until you know them cold. Another way to memorize the groups of 3 is to make flashcards. Play concentration with 1 or 2 other members. The only way a fact becomes yours if you can say the product. If you can't, you have to put the cards back down and the next player tries it. A third way to memorize the facts is to say them over and over again orally until the fact is yours. Some students can't write, and this is their only option. One boy in grade 4, that's the only way he learned, and he mastered them in grade 4. The following is a series of tests to help you remember the 9 multiplication facts. Using the following 3 numbers, 6, 7, and 8, can you write 3 timetable facts from these 3 numbers? The 3 facts that need to be memorized. The 3 facts that need to be memorized with 6, 7, and 8 are 6 times 6, 6 times 7, and 6 times 8. Did you get them right? Test number 2. Write the products for the following multiplication questions. 6 times 6, 6 times 7, 6 times 8. At the very beginning of this video, we listed those 3 facts and with the products. Check them out. The product for the 3 facts you listed are 6 times 6 equals 36, 6 times 7 equals 42, and 6 times 8 equals 48. Did you get them all right? I sure hope so. This is like Jeopardy! I'll give you the product, you tell me the question. Number 1. What is the multiplication question for the product of 48? Number 2. What is the multiplication question for the product of 36? And number 3. What is the multiplication question for the product of 42? You have 3 options, 6 times 6, 6 times 7, or 6 times 8. What is the question for the product of 48? That is 6 times 8. What is the question for the product of 36? That is 6 times 6. What is the question for the product of 42? The question is 6 times 7. Test number 3. Using the following 2 numbers, 7 and 8, can you write 3 different timetable facts using 7 and 8? And the previous facts you wrote for question number 2 cannot be repeated. The 3 facts for 7 and 8 are 7 times 7, 7 times 8, and 8 times 8. You have to memorize these 3 facts as well as the 6 times 6, 6 times 7, and 6 times 8 facts. Now I want you to write the product of the following questions. The answers at the beginning of this video, which you wrote down. 7 times 7 equals, 7 times 8 equals, and 8 times 8 equals. These must be memorized. Seven times 7 equals 49, 7 times 8 equals 56, and 8 times 8 equals 64. Did you get them all right? I sure hope so. Ready to play Jeopardy? Answer the questions with 7 times 7, 7 times 8, or 8 times 8. Number 1. What is the multiplication question for the product of 56? Number 2. What is the multiplication question for the product of 64? And number 3. What is the multiplication question for the product of 49? The answers are on the next page. Number 1. The question for the product of 56 is 7 times 8. Number 2. The question for the product of 64 is 8 times 8. And number 3, the question for the product of 49 is 7 times 7. Not as easy as it looks. Did you get them all right? Test number 5. Using the following 2 numbers, 11 and 12, can you write 3 different timetable facts using 11 and 12 that must be memorized? We mentioned them at the beginning of this video. I want you to stop the video and write down your 3 timetable questions. And when you have completed that, restart the video again, and the answers are on the next page. The 3 different timetable facts with 11 and 12 that must be memorized are: number 1, 11 times 11, number 2, 11 times 12, and number 3, 12 times 12. Did you get those 3 facts? I sure hope so. Test number 6. Write the product for the following multiplication questions. Number 1, 11 times 11 equals. Number 2, 11 times 12 equals. And number 3, 12 times 12 equals. Write down those 3 products. The answers are on the next page. Test number 6. The products are as follows. Number 1, 11 times 11 equals 121. Number 2, 11 times 12 equals 132. And number 3, 12 times 12 equals 144. It's Jeopardy time! Using 11 times 11 or 11 times 12 or 12 times 12, answer the following questions. Number 1, what is the multiplication question for the product of 132? Number 2, what is the multiplication question for the product of 144? And number 3, what is the multiplication question for the product of 121? Number 1, the question for the product of 132 is 11 times 12. Number 2, the question for the product of 144 is 12 times 12. And number 3, the question for the product of 121 is 11 times 11. Not as easy as it looks. Did you get them all right? I sure hope so. May every student master their multiplication facts.